Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to be here with you. Today, we're going to explore an important topic: never date anyone without these green flags. We'll dive into what makes a healthy relationship truly strong. The title is Never Date Anyone Without These Green Flags, a detailed guide to healthy relationships. We'll look at the key signs that show someone is worth your time, energy, and emotional investment. Plus, I'll share insights on how to recognize these green flags and why they matter. So, let's get started and learn how to build better, more balanced connections. When we talk about respecting your independence in a relationship, what we mean is that a healthy partner encourages you to maintain your own life, your friendships, and your hobbies. It's really important to remember that having your own space and interests is a sign of strength, not weakness. One of the biggest red flags to watch out for is isolation. If someone is slowly convincing you to distance yourself from your friends or family, that's a serious warning sign. Isolation can be a way to control or manipulate, and it's something you definitely want to be aware of. On the flip side, a green flag is when your partner values your independence. They celebrate your other relationships and don't feel threatened when you spend time apart. This kind of support shows they trust you and respect your autonomy. Why does this matter? Because respecting your independence helps build trust and prevents toxic dependency. In a healthy relationship, you should genuinely want to be with each other because you enjoy each other's company, not because you feel like you have to out of fear or control. It's about mutual respect and balance. Let's talk about taking responsibility for their actions. Manipulative partners, for example, often try to shift blame, guilt trip, or gaslight when they're confronted about something. That kind of behavior can really undermine trust and emotional safety in a relationship. On the other hand, emotionally mature people own up to their mistakes. They're willing to acknowledge when they've hurt someone or been wrong, which is a huge sign of emotional intelligence. A green flag to look for is when you tell them, "Hey, when you said that, it hurt me," and they respond with, "I didn't realize. I'm sorry, how can I do better?" That kind of response shows genuine accountability and a willingness to improve. That's really valuable. Why does this matter? Because accountability demonstrates emotional maturity. When both partners are willing to reflect, admit faults, and grow, the relationship becomes stronger and healthier. It's all about that mutual respect and the commitment to better understanding each other. Let's talk about a really important idea here. Support, not control, your happiness. One of the most powerful messages in this whole discussion is that you are not responsible for someone else's happiness. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we need to fix or carry the emotional load for our partners, but that's not healthy or sustainable. A healthy partner, the green flag we look for, manages their own emotions. They seek professional help when they need it, and they don't make you feel guilty for their struggles. This is a sign of emotional maturity and independence. Why does this matter? Well, a relationship should add value to your life, not become a constant emotional burden. True love is uplifting. It energizes you. It supports you. It doesn't drain your energy or leave you feeling overwhelmed. So remember, a partner who supports your well-being without trying to control your happiness is a key sign of a healthy relationship. It's about mutual growth and respect, not dependency or responsibility for each other's emotional states. Let's talk about how healthy communication looks in a relationship. When partners communicate openly and respectfully, they create a safe space for both people to share their feelings. Toxic partners, on the other hand, often dismiss feelings with phrases like, "You're too sensitive," or "I was just trying to help." That's not really communication, that's deflection, and it can be very damaging. A green flag in communication is when your partner listens, validates your feelings, and actively works toward finding solutions together. Even if there's a disagreement, the goal should be mutual understanding, not winning an argument. Why does this matter? Because open communication builds trust. When you're honest and respectful, you're laying a foundation where misunderstandings don't fester and resentment doesn't build up. It's really the cornerstone of a healthy, lasting relationship. Imagine your relationship as its own little ecosystem. Just like a healthy environment, it needs care and protection. Now, think of pollution as those unresolved issues, stress, or negativity that can harm this balance. A green flag in this metaphor is when your partner takes responsibility for their own mental health, friendships, and responsibilities. They don't dump all their emotional baggage onto you. That's like avoiding polluting your shared space. Why is this so important? Because the healthiest relationships are built when both people are whole individuals first. Supporting each other is key, but neither person should carry the full weight of unresolved issues alone. When both partners maintain their own ecosystems, it creates a more balanced, resilient, and supportive connection. This idea ties into our overall theme. Healthy boundaries and mutual respect foster stronger, more sustainable relationships. Let's talk about one of the most important green flags in a healthy partnership: encouraging growth and self-reflection. Everyone, including you and me, makes mistakes. A partner who truly values growth will not only recognize their own flaws, but will also encourage you to reflect on yours, all without judgment. For example, they might say something like, "I realize I've been stressed and it's affecting how I talk to you. I'll work on it." Or, "Let's check in on how we can both improve." These kinds of statements show a willingness to grow together rather than stagnate or point fingers. Why does this matter? Because it fosters a growth-oriented partnership where both people are committed to evolving. It creates an environment where you can both learn from mistakes and support each other's development, instead of tearing each other down or staying stuck. Ultimately, a partner who encourages this kind of self-reflection helps build a relationship that's dynamic, resilient, and constantly improving. Let's talk about a really important shift in how we view the people around us. Instead of feeling drained after spending time with certain individuals, some actually add to our energy. These are what we might call happiness vampires, people who take without giving back. When you're with someone who truly lifts you up, you feel understood, recharged, and uplifted. That's a green flag. It shows that the relationship is balanced and healthy. Why does this matter? Because energy dynamics are one of the clearest signs of relationship health. Pay close attention to how you feel after your interactions. If you leave feeling anxious or drained, that's a red flag. But if you leave feeling good, supported, and energized, that's a sign you're with the right people. Now, moving on to boundaries. A healthy relationship respects your boundaries without punishment. In toxic dynamics, setting a boundary often leads to guilt tripping or emotional withdrawal. That's unhealthy. A green flag is when your partner respects your no without punishing you or making you feel guilty. They see your boundaries as a sign of mutual respect, not as barriers. Why is this so important? Boundaries are not walls meant to keep others out. They're guidelines for mutual respect and understanding. Without them, resentment builds and the relationship becomes imbalanced. Respecting boundaries creates a foundation of trust and safety. That's essential for any healthy relationship. Now, let's explore the final insight, which might seem subtle but is incredibly powerful. A healthy relationship is rooted in want, not need. When someone truly values your presence, they choose to be with you because they want to, not because they feel they have to. A green flag here is that they're with you because they genuinely value what you bring into their life, not because they're desperate, dependent, or afraid of being alone. Why does this matter? Because when love stems from freedom and choice, rather than fear or obligation, it creates a much stronger, more authentic connection. It's about mutual respect and genuine desire, which ultimately leads to a healthier, more balanced partnership. When love is based on wanting you, instead of needing you, it's rooted in true connection rather than control. That's the kind of relationship that can flourish and stand the test of time. All right, let's wrap things up with some final thoughts. When we talk about green flags, it's really important to understand that they aren't about finding perfect people. Instead, they're about recognizing partners who show emotional maturity, responsibility, and respect. These qualities are key indicators of a healthy, balanced relationship. Think of relationships like ecosystems. They should thrive together, supporting each other's growth. They shouldn't be polluted environments where one person is suffocating the other or where things are toxic. That's the core idea I want you to keep in mind. Now I want you to ask yourself a few questions. Does your partner take responsibility for their actions? This shows accountability and maturity. Do they respect your independence and boundaries? Respect is fundamental for trust and comfort. Do you feel better after spending time with them? A positive, uplifting presence is a big green flag. And finally, do they add to your life instead of draining it? A healthy relationship should enhance your well-being, not diminish it. If your answers to these questions are yes, then you might be looking at a relationship that's worth investing in. Remember, love should never feel like a struggle for survival. It should feel like growth, something that helps both of you become better, stronger, and happier together.